Hello and welcome to my channel Leaders in Making. I, Sunita Tank, is very affectionate with one of my very dear alumni, Keshav Saboo. Extremely brilliant in his work. Analysis was always on point since beginning. Has worked with me personally in the capacity of being the main member in the placement cell. I have witnessed his journey from the college days to the point where he is working today uh, after doing MBA in business analytics. So I'm extremely excited to welcome him on the podcast series. And in this podcast, I'm going to cover three parts. Part one is going to be all about information about all the entrances which Keshav has appeared, CAT, XAT, SNAP, and Narsi Mohanji aptitude test. I was trying to pronounce it in the same way. And next podcast series, I would definitely would like to talk about how was his journey when he was doing MBA business analytics. And podcast 3 will be all about his internship experience, his placement experience, because he has done wonderful internships. And I would like to tell him to the freshers or to the beginners on our channel that how was his journey on internship, what nuances were there. So today in part 1 series, we will be talking about how he prepared for all these entrances, what are the challenges, how he was able to overcome all these challenges, what was the basic difference for him while he was appearing for all the entrance tests, and a piece of quick advice that when he appeared and now in 2023, what students are specifically to keep in mind. So I personally welcome you, Keshav, on our channel Leaders in Making. And I really wish that a lot of youngsters take you as an idol today. Over to you, Keshav.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction. So I'll just slightly give a brief about myself, and then we can.
Sure. And I would first like you to tell that post 12, how and when you decided that you will be doing PG after UG. When did it appeared in your mind, and how you went ahead with that journey first?
Correct. So I did my graduation like with ma'am, did my BBA. After that, got placed via campus only into Amazon. So I was working with Amazon for 2 years as in the last mile department. Post my Amazon, that is when I went for my MBA. So I ideally started preparing for my MBA during the third year of my graduation only. So it was like a plan where I was trying to do my MBA right after my college. But it actually came out to be a dilemma for me when the college ended. I could have taken admission into some college, but I also got a good placement. So it was kind of a dilemma for me which way to ideally go, because I had given all the exams in that year as well. Should I go for my MBA and then look for a job, or maybe just get some experience, because now I had got a good company, so good to get some good experience, get the exact value, and then do an MBA. I definitely chose the latter. So I went for my experience. I worked there for 2 years. During my second year, that is where the COVID and everything actually started. I was working from home. I again started preparing for my MBA and got into nursing home. So I did my MBA from Narsi Monji. I was specializing there in business analytics. And post that, now MBA has completed, and I'm again working as a product manager with Genesis, settled in Mumbai.
Okay. You have covered a very important point, and before we go ahead, yes, you have shared the dilemma that you got a wonderful placement from the college in the company called Amazon, and you wanted to go ahead with the experience. So should we assume that yes, you got a good placement, so you first thought of gaining the experience before you went for PG program?
It's actually either ways for both the things. So I have during my MBA, I've also seen, so a number of freshers can also get into, definitely, right after college you can go for an MBA. But at times, people miss certain requirements where you don't yet know the industry, so you still don't know which actually field you want to specialize in. So if you're going for a general MBA program, definitely it's a go for everybody. But where the point comes, you want to specialize in a certain field, and experience there helps you a lot. So because I was specializing in, so my department was last mile analytics, and I was working in operations, I was managing some people there. I had an idea. That is where I was at a better position to choose. I want to do my MBA in business analytics.
Okay.
People can definitely go into it. Like if you have that clarity right from college, definitely it's a it's a win-win situation. You finish your studies at once, go into the industry, now you can work and do whatever you want to. But for me, it worked out this way, where I actually went into the industry. I saw, okay, this is my interest areas. I want to do this. Then I was able to take a technical course as well, because business analytics comes with a lot of 50% of it is technical. You have to learn coding, you have to learn a number of things as well. So that worked out for me.
Okay, so what we can understand from your explanation is that your job motivated you to explore business
Yeah,
analytics. Okay. Was
correct.
there any other specialization in your mind while you were working for Amazon, or that was the only specialization you considered because you got motivated and you got technical skills, hands-on technical skills while you're working for Amazon?
So if you talk about 70 to 80% masters that people do, or that masters that are available, it's like general only. Like first year is almost general MBAs. On the second year we choose, hey, our major is marketing or a major is finance. So I had from start, okay, I'm not very interested into finance. That was a personal thing, and I'm not into finance. Marketing can work for me, and subjects like I can take HR as a background for it, because I also like our experiences in the placement cell and everything also motivated me on the to be on the HR side. Here I like this as well. So I was inclined towards these two fields, but still I wanted a job into operations. So a direct win-win into operations was not a good direction to take this one. Like if I do marketing and then I want to get into operations, doesn't make a lot of sense. That is where here a general MBA would have worked fine as well. But if I do a technical course now, being at a position where I am, I have to get work done with from other people as well. So now if I know technical stuff, so people who have actually done their BTechs and everything, they are like the technical or engineers, they have a advantage here, a slight advantage here as well. Because when they have to get the work done from another software developer, or get the timelines from them, they know how much time is actually going to go into it and what they have to expect. So it's like everyone has to find their own way how or which field has to like will work for them depending on. But it becomes very important where you have to be. If you know that, all of these decisions make sense after that.
Sure.
Otherwise, general MBA is the perfect way, because in the first year you can just study everything, and then the second year you get to decide which area do you want to choose.
Okay, so there are a lot of PG programs, also 1 year PG program. So would you
Yeah.
recommend 2 year full-time MBA program in comparison to 1 year PG diploma programs for freshers, especially beginners?
For freshers, I think 2 years is the way to go, because there are a number of things that are taught in these MBA programs, and there is a certain value that a person gets after getting out of it. That is where a number of people are after it as well. That is where the demand also comes from. So if you have done a 2 year program, it definitely makes sense. But if you are at a point of life where you have maybe 3 to 4 years of experience in your life, and then a 1 year program might suffice for you. But if you're a fresher, a 2 year program I think will be a number of 1 year programs will also not be available if you want from a good quality college. And there are a number of courses out there, but if you want a good AAA grade or some a good tier college, then a number of 1 year programs will also not be giving admission to you. It
Sure.
only makes sense when a person has significant experience, and where he only needs some management skills or some specializations that can be covered in 1 year.
Okay. So for listeners, this is very, very important. If you really want to have a value to your PG program, always prefer a 2 year full-time program, MBA program in comparison to PG program. However, you can still consider if you have Keshav is suggesting 4 to 5 years, but I do feel that you should have at least 7 to 8 years of experience, even if you are planning to
Yeah.
go for 1 year specialized any PG program. So coming quickly to the mainstream topic of our session today, you started preparing for all the entrance exam you shared in the last year of your UG program. You were doing BBA with me. And then you got
Yes,
more
ma'am.
time while you were in COVID working for your job, and you got more time because of the COVID situations. How the preparation actually started, and what all things you opted in order to have the technical preparation of all the tests?
While starting, so I started with I took a coaching because I did not have a lot of idea about different courses or different courses that I should take, or different which all exams are there.
So there was a technical glitch. May I request Keshav to continue, please?
Yeah, so I took coaching. I was actually studying at Career Launcher for that 1 year. I was studying with them, took their, I was in the classroom program, going there on every weekend, and and for that year it was with them. So I did not take admission in that year. The year I took admission in and scored everything nicely. It was the year when I was studying at home. So there are a number of ways that a person can take this further as well. So depending on your timelines and everything, a person, if a classroom session for someone is possible, that is a very nice way to go ahead because there are a lot of things to study. At times, you might not know a lot of things sitting at home, but when you are sitting in a classroom with 40 other folks, it gets you a number of things. If you are sitting at home and studying, mock tests become very important. You have to subscribe to any mock test. It might be from any of these courses, Career Launcher, IMS. There is Time as well. IMS was the mock test that I took, and I think they are rated the best as well. So depending on their research, so mock tests become very important. But before even starting your preparation or while starting your preparation, if a person can actually set up their mind to which college they are actually aiming, that is where you can actually decide which tests are also important for you. Because if you aim a college like XLRI, now that is very important for you. You want to come to Narsi Monji, NMAT is very important for you. And NMAT and CAT are very different in the way how they test people. If a person studies the entire time just on the pattern of CAT, directly goes for an NMAT for Narsi Monji, now you can't expect the same results in NMAT if you're not given mock of NMAT before, because the pattern is slightly different. It is more on reasoning side. The maths is not that tough, but the speed gets very important in an NMAT when you are there. But in a CAT, speed is definitely important, but the toughness or the toughness also gets in more, and the competition is also higher. So that is where you have to score more there. So on different tests, like when you come at XAT has a different pattern. XAT now takes an essay writing competition as well. So on the second part of the exam, now you have to write an essay. There is general knowledge that is there. Wherein CAT, GK is not there. So if you think a GK is a very important, a person like me, I was not good at GK ever. I know, hey, that can be a tough option for me. I already had accepted it, though they don't ask. So the GK is not important in the main exam. You might clear the cutoff without GK as well. But once you go for the interview, now the GK comes in. So the entire process is a pretty long one where it's not like just cracking an exam and you are clear, you get an admission. There is a proper interview process for which again you have to prepare. And that preparation again gets different for different colleges. Some college might be very inclined towards your experiences. Some college will be very inclined to what have you done or just values as well. Like what values you have, just your personal interview is what they look for.
Okay.
So
So what we understood is that you have to target the colleges as well, which are considering these type of entrance exam. For example, CAT is being considered by almost all the top-notch colleges in India, including IIMs, FMS, MDI, or any other good college. XAT
right,
is definitely for Xavier's, NMAT is definitely for Nasi Mohanji, and you have even given SNAP, which is for Symbiosis. So, and you shared three websites, Career Launcher, IMS, and Times, that the mock test for these specific exams are very, very important. Any
right.
major difficulty you faced while appearing for different formats of these entrance exams?
So it started with at the time I first did IIFT. IIFT was a pen and paper exam at the time of my college, but now it is not as such anymore. So it becomes a scenario where I was not practicing on pen and paper anytime. Like I always have an iPad with me where if I'm writing, it's not on that. Or all the mock tests that you're doing is on your screen. Entire practices, everything that you're doing is somewhere digital. We're not used to just marking circles anywhere. So it became a problem there. When you talk about NMAT now has an option where you can take it at home. No other entrance test is giving that. So
Okay.
if you are very suitable, so CAT, my CAT last time I had a very bad experience because just for giving the exam, because now you have studied for the entire year. that 3 hours of yours is also very important, because what happens there, the monitor that I got was very dim. Like I was not able to see anything. You can go and request it to anyone, but they can't help it, because that is the seat that you have been allocated, and you can't shift from there. You can't even stand. You can't even make a single noise. Now, every problem that you face there, you have to be with it for 3 years. So it is a number of things that actually come along. A bit of luck as well. It's just out there, right? Because you have to do NMAT, where NMAT gives you a very good opportunity. You can just sit at home and give your exam. Symbiosis as well. Symbiosis is definitely a good exam if you're targeting some colleges for symbiosis. SNAP, you have to prepare separately for SNAP. It's not like so people. The coaching centers also advertise it in a way where, hey, just study for CAT. All these other exams can work out for you. It's not like that. You have to give certain, and because every exam will have its own challenges. At times you'll have to travel to a certain place to give an exam. That is also one. Certainly different practice is required. So every exam will have their own type of questions, like some topics like which are present in CAT, like geometry or something, won't be coming in NMAT. So if you're studying those topics for no reason, then it becomes for no use, like it's time waste for you.
So any major preparation sections which is common to all these prominent entrance exam, just like a general aptitude, or some major tips to students that these 4 or 5 things students must prepare in order to be at least suitable, arrangements are being made for the attempt of all these 4 or 5 exams?
So the common aptitude is everywhere. So when we talk about quantitative aptitude, Q quants will be in every of these, like all of these exams. Different level of quants can come, and different subjects will be there in different exams. So by the end of this meeting, and in the comments as well, maybe we can put in some links where people can go in and see which all websites are there who update them on a regular basis. So there are certain websites like Career Launcher for a website by itself. So Career Launcher, even if you're not using them for the coaching or nothing else, just use their website as a news source, because they'll be updating their website pretty frequently. As soon as an update comes, as soon as a date comes, you can just go to that website and you can check, hey, when is the exam, or what else has to be done for it. Such things.
Okay. So you were already from a management background. What about students who are from arts, humanities, or maybe from science background? Any specific challenge you foresee for them while they are appearing for management entrance programs and entrance test?
During the preparation is almost so from if you're from arts, I'm not very sure how much of, because if you have not studied quants for a very long time, like if you're not having maths in 11th and 12th, it becomes an issue. Like if you have not studied maths in the past 3-5 years, suddenly you have been bombarded with so many questions from quants, so many topics that you've never seen. It definitely becomes a challenge. But with the right coaching, and if you are preparing on time, it definitely can be overcome. So it's like if a person who has not studied mathematics for the past 5 years suddenly starts preparing for an exam like CAT 2 months prior to it. Now that can't be done. Like it's not very feasible for everybody to do it. If someone can crack it, it's their thing. Where when you talk about engineering students or people who have done the BTechs, they have some capacity of mathematics there with the course as well. Prior to it as well, they have studied advanced mathematics as well. So that is where they get some push there. Okay, now some subjects becomes easier for them, some subjects become tough for them. There are people who will be struggling with verbal, for instance, regardless of the course. So verbal, again, practice and mock test is where you have to find. If you're preparing on time, regardless of the course that you come from, it will not make any difference.
Okay. And while you were appearing for all these tests differently, and I know that you have cleared all these tests, can you name top 5 colleges which were absolutely there in your mind that these 5 colleges are my target and I have to get into one of them for sure? So what were those top 5 colleges, MBA, in your mind?
So if you're talking about this, at the time when I started my because the choice becomes very difficult. At the end of the day, you have to choose where you have to, because there will a point come where you have put in a lot of efforts for a certain college, but now you're not getting into that, then which one do you have to take now? And all of those choices come throughout the process. There is one college called Masters Union in Gurgaon. A number of people still are not aware of it, what that college does, where it comes from, but the pattern on which that college is teaching. So I also got admission into it. They were just starting their MBA process. I did not take admission there. I was like, hey, I'm already getting Narsi Monji. They have like more than 4 to 5 decades of experience. That pedagogy is there. I'll go to Narsi Monji. But suddenly the Masters Union, they come out with a placement report of the same batch at 36 lakhs. Like an average person of there is like, I think it's over 33, 34 lakhs is what they're saying.
Okay.
So such colleges are also there. That is where, like as I suggested, a person has to be very well aware. I was staying nearby to that place, so I knew, hey, this is the college that has been established there. But people who are like in any part of the country, you have to, regardless of where you come from, you are preparing for every college, right? So finding such colleges are also very important. How they teach is what you can also look into. The like a college like Masters Union, they don't have regular classes. They have mentor programs. You are studying with different mentors who are actually practicing in the industry. It's not like general faculties that you study with. So they have a whole new pattern and whole new there. So Masters Union was and will still also be my suggestion to a number of people who can actually take that risk to study there is can be one.
Oh,
Other, I think it's as per the field that you are in. If you are a marketing fan, so Mike, there's a college like Micah who is very good for marketing. If you are a fan of business analytics, is that business analytics, which is actually coming up a lot. So Narsi Monji has an established course now. There are colleges like ISB is also providing analytics specialization. IIM Bangalore is providing that specialization now. So different IIMs have also come up with specialized courses. So it's not like if you're studying from IIM, you have to do that general MBA that everyone is doing. You can choose for healthcare as well. You can choose for farming as well. So there are pharma is again an MBA that people do. So there are a number of courses that these IIMs are also coming up, which are specialized in their own way.
so the exam pattern was similar, the duration and everything was same for all the entrance test for CAT, XAT, NMAT, and SNAP you gave, and you were able to clear all four.
Yeah, so it is actually different. So I am not very, I'm not very, I don't remember exactly which all of these were.
That's
But
okay.
when you give, yeah, if you give NMAT, it's like for just 2 hours, 1 hour 20 minutes. When you were going to give CAT is 3 hours exam, right? And the pattern and everything, none of these exams actually tell which subjects. Like it's not a set pattern that they'll also give. So in the when you are giving the exam, you might get a surprise. Hey, the number of, like if you're giving CAT, 1 hour per section is there, but number of questions that will come in that section is not that like every year they might change that number. You might be getting 30 questions in verbal. Next year you might be getting 35 questions in verbal. You never know. So the time is like 3 hours for CAT. Narsi was 2 hours.
Okay.
Symbiosis were also around 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to go to a center to give SNAP as well. That was over 3 hours. It was like, as far as this can be wrong, this is a disclaimer, like just verify this as well. But it was like 3 hours of exam, and then another 20 to 30 minutes was the essay and GK that I told. So that's the separate that happens after the exam and that.
Okay. So while you were appearing all these entrance exams, was apart from the brand name of the college and the performance and the presence of the college, that yes, all these old colleges are there in the industry, in the education field from almost 4 to 5 to 6 decades, was the fees of these programs or the location of these programs were a concern for you or your family that time?
I don't think so. Location should be a problem for anyone. Like if you are aiming a college, anywhere around, you don't get to do anything apart from studying in the college. So if I have come to Mumbai, I will be like I was so it has to become a thing because Narsing Monji in Mumbai does not have a hostel with itself. But a number of colleges, I think 80% colleges, you'll definitely find a hostel. So the entire student life of yours is going to go into, like, you'll be in your hostel, then you'll be going to your classes, and then back to hostel. 7 days a week, something will be going on within the campus only. So it's not like you have to go outside, how the city is, which which is the local language of the city, should matter for a person. It did not matter for me, and it's that is a suggestion for anyone else as well. Like if that should not be a deciding factor for you, like which city or which part of the state that you're going. Money when it comes in, I think most of the top colleges do justify their ROI in a certain extent. Like if that is the investment that you give, this is the output that you'll get. So when Narsimonji also comes in, there is a so when you go into so Mumbai definitely ranks top because of their ROI as well and everything. But when you take second or third, Narsimonji Hyderabad is an option, Narsimonji Indore is an option. Similarly, IIMs, top IIMs will be charging you around 20 to 25 on a top line. But when you go to IIMs which are slightly newer, the fee structure is also very less. So fee structure is also like 12 lakhs, 14 lakhs, some are at 16 lakhs. So it depends on the ROI. They have also decided by their own way that, hey, this is the ROI. How much do we have to charge? They justify in a certain way. It's not like all IIMs will be charging the same fees.
I have a very exciting question in my mind since you're talking a lot about IIMs and all the other colleges and especially NIMS because you are a pass out from that college.
Sure.
Share your thoughts if somebody gets into baby IIMs, the IIMs which are just generated 5 to 7 to 10 years back, and somebody gets into all colleges like Xavier's or maybe SPGen or NIMS or FMS Delhi or MDI. So what are your thoughts about these colleges vis-a-vis new baby IIMs college?
So if like I would suggest don't to not to run behind the IIM tag. It is in the industry as well. It is not like seen in a certain like, hey, you're from IIM, but now you are from this IIM, which was just started 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's not like IIM will be given a lot of focus to. What you know, what you have learned will be given focus to. So that is the point. When we come down to comparing a old college with a like a old college with a very new college, they have a lot of experience. The type of companies that will be visiting a very old college are also different because those companies are visiting those colleges, those companies for placement also trust those colleges for 20 years or maybe more than 5 years, more than 6 years. So the type of companies that go there are also different. The alumni base is what also you also enjoy, right? Alumni base becomes very important in any college. If you like you become part of that network. So when you know that network is more than 20 years old, or the first person who passed out from this college is 20 years, elder to you. So they'll be also be creating value for you sometime in the future. But the baby IIMs, the quality of education is not different. The same teachers who are teaching in the major IIMs are also teaching in the baby IIMs. Every baby IIM is like a mentee to a mentor bigger IIM. So they have these relationships with the bigger IIMs who are taking care of them, who are taking care of the placements as well. Who the teachers are very safe. It's not like quality of education will be different. Uh, the major gap just becomes what type of companies are visiting them afterwards and what type of placements are those students able to pull off. Because when the entry level is slightly low, it just changes that.
Okay. So apart from Narsi Mohanji, did you also got admission in any other premium college during that time?
Yeah, so I was getting offers from Symbiosis as well. When you just clear, so Symbiosis, when you give Snap, only Symbiosis is the option for you, right?
Okay.
But when you give NMAT, NMAT is primarily for nursing only, but 60 other colleges also accept this exam.
Okay.
So you already, because I cracked the main course, the top college of them, my my score was also cleared in the cutoff for SDA only. There were a number of colleges that were in the list.
Sure.
So if it's like different cutoffs that you have, so you can just clear the entire ones and then you decide which one you want to apply to.
And what was your main reason to go for NIMS that time? Out of all these
That
good,
time,
brilliant colleges?
the business analytics was what attracted me. So specialization meant a lot for me. I was getting purely business analytics here. I knew, hey, I have already studied a lot of management. I was doing BBA earlier. I've studied management. I've seen what the industry needs and everything. I wanted to do analytics. I got an offer, and that is when I took it. Because elsewise, before Narsimology, I also got a number of offers, but all of those were for general MBA. It was becoming difficult for me to think already, hey, if I do a general MBA, do I want to get into marketing? Do I want to get into finance? What will I take was already becoming a problem for me. When I got this I cleared the analytics field, I just went with it.
Sure. So to our listeners, that if you're sorted with your course, then identifying the college and working towards that set goal or target is very, very important. And I think Keshav is a very beautiful live example, because he was very sure from his Amazon job that he would like to go ahead and pursue for business analytics. And since he was specifically having this specialization in his mind, so it was very easy for him to finalize one college which was offering this MBA business analytic program to him, that too full-time MBA program. And I'm so happy that Keshav, you had a very filtered kind of approach. You were very clear in your thought process from beginning. But I'm so happy that you have continued with your thought process, in a general way while you were doing or taking the major career decisions or core decisions as well. In the second podcast, we will definitely cover MBA in business analytics, wherein I would definitely request you to share all the nuances around that particular program. But before we part away from part one podcast, I would definitely like to understand that you gave all these entrances, I think, in the year 2020, and now we are in 2023. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, suggestions, piece of advice, tips to students who will be appearing for all these major entrance program this year? Or what is the difference in the pattern according to your understanding?
So a person has to be very active. Like I said, there are a number of websites that a person should follow. Um, that will be giving you updates, regular updates as well. So at the time when I was giving nursing NMAT for nursing, they were accepting all three attempts. So nursing NMAT can be given three times. You can, if you didn't score well, you can give it again. If you didn't score well, you can give it again. And the highest, like whichever the highest score is, it is taken into consideration. But from the recent years, Nursing Monji has stopped taking the second or third attempt courses. The scores that you have got in the second or third attempt won't be counted. Only the first attempt has to be counted. So there were a number of people who were facing this issue. They were just giving on NMATs again and again, and they're like, "Hey, Narsi is not calling me." The news was already released some time back. Similarly, that added the essay thing that I told earlier. So if a person doesn't know that essay part is gonna come, you don't prepare for it. You just randomly go into an exam where you have studied quant, verbal, maybe logical and everything. You suddenly in an exam, it's like you get a blank space where you have to write a paragraph. You're like, hey, what's happening with me? So a person has to be very active during the entire process. A college can change their dates. An exam might change their dates at that moment. Uh, when I was giving that, even at that time, the number of towards the end, I think the change due to COVID, they had to reduce the time. Exam
Okay,
became from 3 hours to 2.5 hours.
okay, that's a major change.
So anything can happen at any moment, and you have to be very active throughout the process regarding the college, regarding the course that you're, regarding even the entrance that you're getting. It's not like a very fixed criteria. They are also in a process where they are processing a number of things, a number of reasons with it, and that is only where you'll be able to take a very advised decision or a very informative decision to do any or make any change there.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for making our listeners active. And I think it is not just the last day or a last month preparation. As in
Right.
your case, you are already preparing it from last year of your graduation. However, the specialization got filtered very much when once you were there on your job. So, a last piece of advice to the listeners, viewers who follow Leaders in Making channel. Yes, the journey is going to give you fruits, provided you are ready to give hard work to that journey and enough time and resources to that journey so that you are able to clear all these major entrance tests. And as Keshav shared, that there is a huge competition, and for every entrance, you have to prepare specifically with the specific mock test. I think, Keshav, that was a brilliant idea. That was
Yeah.
a brilliant advice and suggestion. And thank you for sharing your insights, real insights, because you have prepared for all these entrances. You were always sorted from beginning. And I'm so thankful for sharing your insights. People who are listening to this channel, if you have any query, any doubt, any question, you can mention in this podcast comment section. And if you have anything specific for Keshav, you can also write an email to us or a comment. We will definitely help you in connecting with Keshav. That comes to an end to our podcast series one. And in podcast series two, the part two, we will be discussing MBA business analytics programs in detail. So stay tuned. Keshav, thank you so much. And I wish you a very best of luck. And I'm 100% sure you're going to do best in all the years to come.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Pravit.
Most welcome. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.